First part, Likutei Moharan, Torah 14. And B'ezrat Hashem, this is our second lesson. Do a quick review of our first lesson last week. Last week, we learned that in order to invoke peace in the world, it's necessary to elevate Hashem's glory. Now, how do we do that? We do that through spiritual outreach. And when we teach others about Hashem. So really, Torah 14 is the marching orders for all our online lessons. It's the marching orders for Amunah Beams. It's the marching orders for everything we do. Because Rebbe Nachman describes his outreach as uplifting Hashem's glory. This is the way we do it. Now, there are three groups that we look to uplift. Okay, the first group is the Jewish Baal Teshuvos, that the Jewish people that have been far away from Hashem, or maybe Jewish people that were born into religious families and fell off the wayside, and they never learned Emunah, so we teach them Emunah. They build their own faith. It's not just what handed down something that they haven't internalized. We have a lot of people like that, and there are two types of Baalei Teshuvos, of newly awakened Jews, the ones that come from the inside, and one comes to the outside, the ones that were born into families that were just not observant and they grew up in public schools and never learned anything about Judaism. That's the first. The second group are the righteous converts, the people that are searching for spiritual meaning, and they decided that they were interested in Torah, they're interested in becoming Jewish, and they went all the way. Our third group is the Noahides. There's also no less courageous group than anybody else, because the Noahides are born into Christian families, Muslim families, Buddhist families. They've grown up with all types of idolatry and all types of things, and their families are many times their families are still strong into it. And most of the Noahides I know, they're so courageous because they've just gone against their families, gone against their friends. Some have even lost places of employment. And they say, no, this is the God of Israel. That's the real deal. The one God. There is no other. And they go they put all their eggs in the Emunah basket. Now, this is one thing that's important to say. What Rebbe Nachman is the master of Emunah. Rebbe Nachman is he brings the light of Emunah to this generation. Rebbe Nachman said that his fire will burn until the coming of Mashiach. What did he mean? That Rebbe Nachman is bringing us the fire of Emunah that warms our souls, that illuminates our souls. And Rebbe Nachman is really the one that brings Emunah down to eye level. And he's done more that shows the power of a tzaddik. Rebbe Nachman left the physical world 213 years ago. And after 213 years ago, he's not in the physical world and just bringing so many people, continuing, bringing to Hashem. And we're students of Rebbe Nachman. And so this is Rebbe Nachman's power. And that's why it's such a privilege to continue with the Rebbe's teachings and to pass them on to other people. Because there's one law. There's a difference between a spiritual debt and a material debt. For example, suppose you borrow 100 quid or $100 from someone. According to halacha, you have to pay back exactly 100 quid or $100 every bought. Because if you give too much, that's interest. That's not allowed in Torah. And if you give too little, then you're not repaying the loan. It's got to be exact. Not so with a spiritual debt. In other words, your teacher is teaching you. You don't have to give your teacher anything, okay? But the greatest thing you could do is take what you learn and pass it on to someone else. And this is bringing Hashem's glory. Okay, so this is don't think Baruch Hashem. It's such a privilege to learn with our groups, to teach to our groups. I say to learn, because the teaching, there's no better learning than teaching. But nobody owes me anything. No, just take it and pass it on. Pass it on to yourself. Pass it on to your loved ones. Okay, so we have the three groups: our Baalei Teshuvos, the righteous converts, and the Noahides. Okay, now that's the first we learned. Why do they exalt Hashem so much? Because you talk about people that are far away. And when somebody really far away comes into the program, this is a sanctification of Hashem's name. This exalts Hashem's glory. People say, can you imagine if some head of state all of a sudden, with Torah, the British Prime Minister declared that right now he's becoming a Noahide. And that's it. He's throwing everything aside. This would make waves all over the world. And the head of state, because a person is far away and is far away from faith, far away from Emunah, and now he's discovering it. It even I don't know what it'd be how much of an influence would be if the president of the United States did. I don't know what his popularity is, but if you take somebody, for example, some rock star that was really far away and into all kinds of kinky stuff and anything, and then comes close to Hashem, or some professional athlete, that somebody comes far away and comes into Hashem, this is glorification of Hashem's name. And this is what Rebbe Nachman was talking about. By bringing people close to Hashem, it's a glorification of Hashem's name. And it's a glorification of Hashem's name. Just we look and we learn together, and we see for people from around the world, and we're learning Rebbe Nachman's teachings, and we're glorifying Hashem's name. It's just so fantastic. Okay, so that's the first thing we learn. And the second is that in order to have your own kids close to Hashem, that you have to appreciate your own emunah, appreciate your own Torah learning, and not take it as something wrote. This is what we ended last week's lesson with. This week, we learned two important lessons. The first lesson, which is titled this week, Holy Humility. The first lesson is that humility is a prerequisite of learning Torah. Now, you might ask me, isn't any humility holy? Now, there's a fake humility, a person goes and, he's so humble. When you check he's humble, person says, I'm nothing. Yeah, I know you're nothing. Oh, what are you talking about? Nothing. There are some people that they act humble, so that person says, oh, look how humble this person is. No. That's isn't a person who's really humble is a person that acts normal, speaks normal, does everything, but a person that shies away from the credit, shies away, doesn't look for self-aggrandizement, talking about other people's aggrandizement. He crowns his neighbor, he crowns his best friend, he crowns Hashem. This is a humble person, because a humble person, if a person is arrogant, the arrogant person can't stand that anybody's on a higher level than he or she is. Okay, for a narcissistic person, have you ever seen a narcissistic person give compliments to other people? That doesn't happen. Only if they're fishing for a compliment to get a bigger compliment back at themselves. That they will do. If it's a worthwhile investment, but it's all a calculated investment. Real humility, it's just nice people. Nice people. And they know they've got a nice word for everyone, polite word for everyone, encouragement for everyone, and they're close to Hashem. That is a sign of holy humility. And Rebbe Nachman tells us this holy humility is a prerequisite for learning Torah. When learning Torah, it's important to teach other people Torah, to learn it ourselves. We can't give other people what we don't have. And to bring that, especially when we're talking about now, when I talk about learning Torah, and I'm talking about learning Torah with all of us together with the Jews and the righteous converts, all the Jews and the Noahites, all together, we're talking about the Torah Emunah. Okay, because I don't teach halacha per se. I don't teach Gemara per se, not in these lessons, not our lessons. We talk about Emunah. Everything is around Emunah. It's all around Emunah. Why do we concentrate on Emunah? Because Emunah is for all of mankind. With the mitzvah of Emunah and the Torah of Emunah, and that's why all my books are about Emunah, because it's the same for Noahide as for a Jew, for a righteous convert, but it's the same for everybody. It's a whole thing. And that puts us all on the same page. In other words, it would be difficult, and maybe not even to teach Kabbalah or to teach in depth Gemara to a mixed group because of the background you need for it, this and that. So let other people do that. But our concentration is Emunah, and that is why if someone asks, how come we learn Torah 1 and Torah 2, and then we learn Torah 3? Because if we're picking the Rebbe Nachman's Torahs that are universal in nature. And that's why universal in nature, this is something I discussed with Rabbi Wolbe and share it with the group also. That's why we're not learning in order. We're learning things what our group needs to know to get us closer to Hashem, to get us together on the same page that we can share with one another. Okay, that's the first lesson in this week's is holy humility. And then the second thing we learn that there are 4 types of humility. With learning the 4 types of humility, we'll now begin our second part of Torah 14 that starts with small letter Hey, the 5th part, 5th section. Rebbe Nachman says, the person cannot attain Torah without humility. Our sages say in Gemara Vorvin that they say that a person to attain Torah, person has to be like a desert. What does it mean like a desert? A desert is empty. Person considers himself empty. In other words, take a know-it-all. person comes and knows it all and everything. His ego is full. His brain is full. He knows everything. Okay, if you know everything, sir, I can't put anything in your brain. You can't learn anything from me. But a humble person that considers himself a desert, I'm going to learn from David. I'm going to learn from Eric, and I'm going to learn from Cheyenne. I'm going to learn from Mino Brocha, and I'm going to learn from Fumani, and I'm going to one by one. Alan's going to teach me stuff. I'm going to listen. What can I learn from that? What can I learn from that? And I'd stop to think. What does a humble person think? Humble person thinks, hey, wait a second. Hashem does everything for a person, for a purpose. So if Hashem put Fumani on the earth, that means it's a purpose. That means Fumani's got something that nobody else has. Now I'm going to hone in to his particular quality. I'm going to milk him out of it. Okay. I can't do this if I'm not humble. If I think, hey, wait, Fumani's got something that I don't have. And I'm not talking about his wallet. I'm talking about his brain. I'm talking about his soul. So I'm going to go and hone into that. Same thing with Eric. Okay. Eric is a master immunologist. Eric is so in Emunah. Eric has got a lot to offer. Go into one by one in our group, one by one in our group. And that's what makes it so great. Now, here's the thing. With everybody seeking Emunah, without you thinking it, I look down the list. This is the nicest people in the world. You're not going to find nicer people in the world than the Callan clan in Midlands. No, you're not going to find more humble, more kind, more considerate people. I don't mean to embarrass them. Okay, but that's it. Look one by one on our list, one by one on our list, people are humble. They're humble because if they weren't humble, they wouldn't be looking for Emunah. They wouldn't be looking as close to Hashem. This way it goes together. So Torah 14 by Rebbe Nachman fits like a glove. Now Rebbe Nachman is going to teach us something that we don't know. Okay, we think of humility. Humility is we respect other people, and we don't consider ourselves a highbrow. We don't act like a highbrow, and we accept things. Okay, but Rebbe Nachman says like this. Rebbe Nachman says there are 4 types of humility, 4 aspects of humility. A person must be humble to those greater than him. For example, if you ever see Lazer Brody when he's next to the Melitzer Rebbe, it's like a little sniffling kid with trembling knees. Okay, it's no problem with you. You got this great grandson of the Baal Shem Tov, who's a big tzaddik and a big Torah scholar, and with this and holy, forget off the charts. It's no problem to be. Okay, but now there's a next level of holiness. Okay, it's no problem. Okay, everybody understands we have to be humble, people greater than us. Okay, but how about being humble to people that are equal to us? All right, it's not like to go. People are looking. You look at and they're equal. Oh, wait a second. No. That's what I just said. When you look at someone who is equal to you, but that someone's got something that you don't have. That someone has got something you don't have. There's so many things. I think in all the years, I know David Dome, and sometimes I think of something, and David comes with boom a cliche or one of the verses. It just he knows how to cut through things. And his eyes, he's an eye doctor, but his eyes are cameras, and the brain goes together, and he knows how to describe a situation, cogent, and just listen to that. That's why I listen when he speaks. I listen. He doesn't speak much, does not speak much, but when he speaks, listen, and you go one by one. So you consider someone your brother, your sister, on the same level as you. No, you got to be humble to them. Even if they are on the same level as you are, you have to be humble to them. Now humility gets a little bit more difficult. Rebbe Nachman takes it to next level humility, being humble to people that are below your level. Okay, so you've got somebody, here we are, Rebbe Nachman gave us some marching orders that we have to bring other people close to Hashem. Okay, we have to bring other people into the program. And it doesn't matter whether they're faraway Jews or whether they're not Jewish at all, or whether Noahides or potential Noahides or potential, it doesn't matter. Okay, but you obviously know more Torah and more Emunah than they do. But no, to treat them with respect and humility, and honestly look and say, wait a second, how do you humble somebody lower on a lower level than you? Look at somebody and say, wait a second. If that person had my opportunity, and if he could learn from the teachers I learned, the guy would be flying way, way higher than me. He'd be way higher than me. Who knows? And you look at somebody that you think somebody's simple, this and that. Give him the chance. Maybe you could be a great scholar, a great holy person. So we have to be humble to people below us. So if we're the first is have humble people higher than us, people on our own level. That's the second. People below us. And now Rebbe Nachman gives us a bombshell. You know what the fourth type of humility is? We have to be humble toward ourselves. If we think that people get this wrong, we think, what does it mean to be humble to ourselves? In the book of Exodus, when we talk about the manna, Moses says to the people, Shev tachat mekomcha, ish tachat mekomot. In other words, on Shabbat, sit in your place and don't go out collecting the manna. Rebbe Nachman takes that and says, sit in your place means that sit in your place on your spiritual level and even a little bit lower than that. Okay. So consider yourself a little bit lower than what you actually are. And that enables you to be humble toward yourself. So when you're humble to people that are greater than you, and you're humble to people on your own level, to your peers, your spiritual peers, your intellectual peers, and when you're humble to people below you, what's the humble people below you? When someone can see the trash collector, people, I don't know why people think that the trash collectors are inferior. People see a trash collector and say, thank you, my brother, for making the neighborhood so nice. What? That's it. They really light up. They really light up. Okay. And then they got this one particular garbage truck driver. And here, on the way to, I always see him on the way to the synagogue in the morning, early in the morning. And I'm carrying my tefillin. And good morning, my brother. He says, well, here's this rabbi with his tefillin. And I'm like, good morning, brother. And I get this big smile back. You see the guy frown, big smile back. And he sees me before I say good morning to him. He smiles back. This is, you feel, so wait a second. Who knows? Maybe let's change places. If he had my opportunities, maybe much bigger than I am. Good. This makes the world such a great place. Now, what happens when this guy goes home? This is what Rebbe Nachman is talking about. Without doing a thing, I didn't say, "Oh, hey, come here, my brother. I want to teach you something about Emunah. Teach you something." Not say a word. But he goes home and he hears on the media, that these ultra religious, they're this and they're this. They're great. He says, "What are you talking about? I got this rabbi. Always says to me, good morning with a big smile and thanks me. They're the nice people in the world." He says, "The media, they're full of blarney. They don't know what you're talking about." So just by your humility and being nice to other people, you're sanctifying Hashem's name. And this is what Rebbe Nachman is talking about in Torah 14. This is exalting Hashem's honor. Now we go forward. Where does Rebbe Nachman see? Rebbe Nachman takes the expressions of Rabba bar bar Chana. Rabba bar bar Chana, he was a sage of the Gemara. He was a Talmud, second generation Amorite. He was a Talmud of Rebbe Yochanan. He has these cryptic metaphors in the Gemara that are deeper than the Zohar. And few people knew how to interpret them. Rebbe Nachman's one of them. So Rebbe Bar Bar Chana tells us a story in Tractate Zvachim, page 113b. This is really wild. I'm going to read it in Aramaic and then translate it in Hebrew. Really wild. And then we'll interpret it. Okay. Ledidi Chazale Hayozita Bal Yoma. Okay. I saw a one-day-old mountain goat. Okay. I saw a one-day-old mountain goat. They were big. I saw a one-day-old mountain goat. Dehavikaha Tabor. It was a one-day-old mountain goat, but it was big as Mount Tabor. But in Israel, big as Mount Tabor. Okay. The How Tabor come of it. How big is Mount Tabor? Alba Palse. It's 4 miles high. And this one-day-old mountain goat extends his neck, and it's 3 miles. And where he lays his head, if he lies down at night, it's 1.5 miles square. And he how can we say that? Okay, he passed his dung, and his dung ball was so big that it dammed the Jordan River, made a dam in the Jordan River. This one-day-old mountain goat. Wait, this is crazy. He's telling us about a one-day-old mountain goat, and it's 4 miles big, and only its neck is 3 miles high, and it puts his head down the rest. and it's a mile and a half. And if it leaves its manure, then one of its manure balls is big enough to make a dam in the Jordan River and stop the water in the Jordan River. What is going on here? Rebbe Nachman now gives us a thing. Okay, what the mountain goat in Aramaic is called Orzila. Rebbe Nachman says Orzila. That's a big secret. Or that's light. That's the light of Hashem. Zila in Aramaic, it means to cheapen. So we say, the Torah tells us that the earth is illuminated by Hashem's glory. But this glory, when's it going to be revealed? Hashem's full glory won't be revealed until Mashiach comes. So when we say, when does Eliyahu Navi ask and the Gemara in Sanhedrin, or our sages, Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi asked Eliyahu Navi, when's the Mashiach going to come? And Mashiach said, today. Hayomim kol shmo. You call out his name today. Today. What do you mean today? Every day today. But what do we learn to that? But today didn't come. But yeah, today. Because we got to believe that Mashiach is going to come today. And that's what Elijah prophet answers. He say, oh, holy prophet, when's Mashiach going to come? Today. Okay. This is what we speak. I will await him whenever he comes. So when he's going to come? Today. All right. So if you think Mashiach is going to come another week or another month, then you're going to be waiting. But Hashem wants us to wait every moment. Now, why are we waiting every moment? Because when Mashiach comes, that is when Hashem's glory is going to be revealed, and that is going to be, oh, happy day. Okay? Oh, happy day when Hashem's glory is revealed. And so that is the secret, Rebbe Nachman says, of this one-day-old mountain goat. The one-day-old mountain goat is the one day that Mashiach is going to come. That's what here, Monday at Ozila, but Yom, that it's the cheap light, and one day the cheap light is going to go, and we're going to get the real light, that it's going to be the wealth of Hashem's light. Now, what does it mean that this mountain goat was as big as Mount Tabor? Okay. Rabbi Bar Chana, he saw that the elevation of Hashem's name depends on a person breaking his haughtiness. He's got to be humble. Okay, Hashem's name can't be elevated by the arrogant person. A highbrow cannot elevate Hashem's name because a highbrow is busy elevating the highbrow. Okay, he doesn't. He says it's got nothing to do with Hashem. And he'll do everything in the world to show you, heaven forbid, that there's not Hashem and there's only him. Okay, there's only him. Excuse me, Mr. Highbrow. There's a little one-celled bacteria called Escherichia coli. If it gets into your intestine, not only you can't do a thing about it, and you're not going to be able to function because you're going to be running back and forth to the bathroom. Okay, so you're defenseless against one-celled bacteria. What do you think your influence is in the parliament? Okay, there's a big vote in the parliament, Mr. Highbrow, but you've got this one back-celled, this is Escherichia coli in your intestines, and you're running to the bathroom. You're going to miss the vote. You're not going to have any influence. Hashem's laughing at people, and we look at Hashem. We saw this today. The Israeli news was all full, and Bibi spoke to Biden, and the fire's going to start. This and that. I said, "Come on, you clowns! There's not going to be no ceasefire today, and there'll be no release." And there was this technical difficulties, this and that, and everybody shut up and had to retract all the new reports. And okay, Hashem decided it'll be before Shabbat. It'll be before Shabbat. But it was, you can see, when you look at the news, you look what Hashem's doing. I look at the news. It just shows all these things. We decided it's going to be now. You don't decide a thing, Biden. You don't think it's named Bibi and Biden. That's a good thing. That's a good friend. Bibi and Biden, good buddies. Okay, you guys do not decide a thing. It's only Hashem. So why not maybe learn to say with Hashem's help, Bezat Hashem? Here the generals say, oh, we're going to do this and we're going to do that. Oh, that's it. Whenever they say that, whenever I hear them, Bezat Hashem, with Hashem's help, Okay, this is a thing. So what is Mount Tabor? Mount Tabor is 4 miles high. Rebbe Nachman says, why is Mount Tabor 4 miles and not 3 miles and not 5 miles? Okay, it's 4 miles high because we're talking about what is a 4 miles high. He's talking about the 4 types of humility to knock down the 4 miles. That's why 4 miles. This is what Rebbe Nachman interprets. He says, Rabbi Bar Chana is telling us, he's alluding to the 4 types of humility that we just learned. And what does it mean that this outstretched neck is 3 miles? Rebbe Nachman says that's a no-brainer. He says the secret is in Jeremiah chapter 9, verse 22. The prophet Jeremiah tells us that are three things that a person is haughty about. A person is haughty about his money, and a person is haughty about his strength, and a person is haughty about his intelligence. That's the three types of arrogance, the three types of haughtiness. Okay, so, and this is that the neck is 3 miles high because the person is haughty about these three things. And Rebbe Nachman is right there, right here. And so this is why King David says in Psalm 75, I see the light of King David's Psalms. Every time I see King David, I said last night, we learned the introduction to Psalms. It's my hero. And just today, I posted on one of my media sites a picture of an Israeli soldier who was walking with a book of Psalms in his pouch. And book of Psalms took a bullet. He picked it out, and the book of Psalms penetrated his bullet, and it took the whole bullet. That bullet would have gone into his chest, and who knows what would have happened to him. And there, thank you, Hashem, thank you, King David. And there's a picture. This is floating around. I know that the photograph has gone viral. It's in the media all over the place. But this is the power of Psalms. So King David says, what does King David say? Rebbe Nachman says everything Rebbe Nachman says. He says he didn't invent this stuff. He takes from King David, takes from Jeremiah the prophet, takes it from the Gemara. King David says in Psalm 75, verse 6, don't speak with a haughty neck. Don't speak with an outstretched neck. B'ezrat Hashem, our new translation of Psalms, we're going to put this in the speaking translation, but they see look at all these translations, speak not with a haughty neck. Okay, that's most, even the Art Scroll translation says, speak not with a haughty neck. Okay, we do it so you can speak from the heart. But the King David is telling us just what Rebbe Nachman is teaching us. Okay, and that's the neck that's 3 miles high of this day-old goat. Now, what happens? The 1.5 miles that the head covers, this refers to something Kabbalistic. I don't want to get into it too deeply, but it is the illumination. Illumination, in other words, when a person has 2 miles, a double illumination, it says illumination is Hashem's light and reflects Hashem's light. But when his soul is darkened and his soul is not, he's trying to get close to Hashem, he's only getting half of Hashem's light. Hashem is giving a person the light, but a person only accepts half of it because his soul, it's imagine that your windows are soiled. When your windows are soiled, they're not translucent. They can't bring in the light of the sun. The light, any light coming from the outside is going to be dulled. Okay. So what is Rebbe Nachman telling us? Rebbe Nachman is telling us that the people such as the Baalei Tshuva and the converts and the newfound Noahites, they're far from holiness. They're far from holiness. Okay, they're far from holiness, and they want holiness. That they're very loved. Rebbe Nachman is saying this complimentary. He's lauding them. He's not. So he's just showing a fact. People come in from the street, and they're coming soiled from the street. Okay, and you got to hit the showers. They come and cleanse themselves. They take some shampoo, take some soap. So Rebbe Nachman is saying that they come in and they want the light, but the light can't shine because the window panes of the soul are soiled. So what they have to do is and this again, Rebbe Nachman refers to Zechariah, the prophet, in chapter 3, verse 4. Zechariah says, remove your soiled garments. Remove the soiled garments. Okay, take off the soiled garment, put on a clean garment. Zechariah is talking about the soul. He's not talking about the cloak. This is just a metaphor. The cloak is a metaphor for the soul. And that's why King Solomon, he says in Psalms, he says, your garments should always be white. In other words, that they should not be unblemished. White, that they should just like a white shirt that comes out of the laundry. And this way the soul should be unblemished. How do we keep the soul unblemished? That every single day we do self-assessment, what Rebbe Nachman tells us, that we speak to Hashem and we assess ourselves, what did you do in the last 24 hours? And if we did something wrong, we ask Hashem for forgiveness, we cleanse the soul. Okay, so that's removing the soiled garments, because the soiled garments prevent a person from getting close to Hashem. Now, I'm sure you've all been in contact with someone that you've spoken to, or someone that someone comes into the program, and it doesn't matter which part of the program is coming into, the Jewish part, or the Jewish part by way of the righteous convert, or by way of the Noahide. But a lot of people come in and they want to bring in the garbage from the outside. In other words, they've been in some messianic synagogue. Now they want to bring that garbage inside, and don't be, the garbage belongs in the pail outside. Don't bring it in here. We got to come in. You got to come in clean. And so they really think, oh yeah, we want Torah, we want Hashem, we want Emunah, but we want to keep some of the garbage from the outside. No, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's you can't have a little bit of garbage and a little bit of cleanliness. It's either that the soul doesn't tolerate that. The soul has to be clean. Soul has to be clean. When the soul is clean, what happens? The emotions come from the soul. People don't realize that. When your soul is clean, you're happy. And no matter if the missiles are flying outside, the bombs flying over, what's going on, when your soul is clean and you're clean with Hashem, and if you've done something wrong, you've done tshuva, you've asked forgiveness, Hashem knows. You're his beloved daughter, beloved son. Hashem knows we're not perfect. We're not angels. The angels don't have a human body. And there are times in history when the angels have been given a body to come down and do a mission, and they flubbed up. Either they came in milk and meat, or they started looking at women. There's time the angels, they're angels that got messed up with women. It's right in the Torah. It's right in the Torah. It's in Breshit. It's right in the Torah. So we see, hey, there's a lot to be proud of yourself. Not arrogant, but proud of yourself. Proud of yourself for the hard work you're doing. Proud of yourself. And everybody at this, I know, okay, a lot of us, if in America, tonight is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a big, big holiday. And there, look at Emunah Bracha, and look at Cheyenne, and look at Rena Bartel, and everybody's running to prepare Thanksgiving meals, and they're learning Emunah. Wow. You guys do not know. This is level of difficulty. You don't know how to appreciate yourself. You don't know how much this means to Hashem. What you're doing is you're elevating right now in life. I want to show you that you got to appreciate yourself. You have to appreciate yourself and the good you do. Where so many people, the rest of America is looking at football games, or preparing their turkey or their pumpkin pie or their cranberry sauce. And no. Rena Bartel is learning Emunah, and John Talbot's learning Emunah, and Emunah Bracha's learning Emunah, and Cheyenne's learning Emunah, and Alan Raskin's learning. Come on, guys. It's him. This is sanctification of Hashem's name. Sanctification of Hashem's name and level of difficulty. Okay, so this is what it means, that we got to throw away our soiled garments and do tshuva, and then we prepare ourselves as a vessel for divine light. And this is what Rabbi Bar Chana said. It's kind of facetious when he says that the day-old goat cast the ball of dung, the dam, to the Jordan River. Dammed, okay, that obstructed the Jordan River. All right, because what he's talking about, he's alluding he got rid of his dung, he got rid of his excrement, the goat. And we're talking about the goat is a metaphor for the body that hides our soul. But when our soul is stronger than the body, then we could get closer to Hashem. And that's what tshuva helps us. So what the goat did, the body, okay, we get rid of this big chunk of dung, which is things that are not Emunah, all the anti-Emunah stuff, it's the excrement, the spiritual excrement within us, which is the news, which is all kinds of political correctness, not truth stuff, which is all kinds of garbage that we just pick up in the atmosphere. And so we have to clean ourselves up. We have to do a spiritual, first of all, we have to be careful about what we expose ourselves to, because we wouldn't go into a hospital and go into a contagious disease ward, but that's dangerous. All right. So therefore, we know that there's for certain social media, internet, contagious disease, got to be very careful. So this is what we have to do. And this is the indicator. Rebbe Nachman says, this is why we bathe and clean our garments and do laundry for Shabbat, because on the Sabbath, we all get uplifted. We all get an extra soul. And we say that a student on the Sabbath, he gets the soul of his Rebbe during the middle of the week. So right away, you go up a higher level that on Sabbath, you've got a soul of your Rebbe. right away, you go up a bigger level. So in order to prepare yourself for that upper soul, you have to put on clean garments. And by putting on clean garments, again, this is metaphoric. The observance of the Sabbath is metaphor for the soul. You have to put on clean garments on the soul. That's why the Sabbath's not just time to go to football games. It's time to play, to read Psalms, to talk to Hashem. And, even if you're a Noahide, and you can go to the football game. But even Shabbat's it's a time for uplifted. And so clean garments alludes to throwing off the soul garments. And this is the essence of Hashem's glory when we throw away these soiled garments. Okay, so now Rebbe Nachman says like this: "Gerem shevigarim mitachat hashchina, b'shvil zeh nikra ger tzedek." And the people that come from far away, they come under the wing of the divine presence. Wow! In other words, if you're sanctifying Hashem's name and you're extolling Hashem and you're exalting Hashem's honor, you're lifting it up. You're not going to be left out in the street. Oh, come, lad. Come, my daughter. Come under the Mama Shechina's wings, the divine presence wings. And under there, that's blessing. There's nothing but blessing there. Okay, so that is why when you go in a higher level, you get a higher soul. You get a higher soul. And by doing that, you uplift yourself and you uplift Hashem's glory. Okay, we're now up to the next section, and let's see, we'll continue on, please. We learned in the first lesson that by enhancing one's awe of Hashem, this extols Hashem's glory, and that every person can have a barometer for himself. Wait a second, do I really uplift Hashem's glory? How can you know? Rebbe Nachman says you can know what your attitude is to tzaddikim, what your attitude is to the righteous people that they themselves extol Hashem. And if you like these people, we're not talking about commercial preachers or artificial. We're talking about truly righteous people. I think it's something. Again, I think of the Melitzer Rebbe. Somebody says behind. You don't hear him in the media. You don't hear him interviewed in the media. You just hear he's hidden behind the scenes. But anybody that's ever needed a blessing for him knows that it's the real deal. This is the grandson of Brentford. And he shies away. He shies away from publicity. He shies away from a lot of people. This is really, really. So you see somebody like that, and you have awe of a person like that, that means you have awe of Hashem. Because when such people, real people, have awe of Hashem, or you look at a picture of somebody like the Baba Sali. Baba Sali was also the real deal. Wow, Baba Sali. And just say Baba Sali, and you right away open up your eyes. Oh, wow. Okay, that's awe. That's awe. Last night, we talked about translation. They say Yirat Shamayim, the fear of Hashem, God-fearing person. Now, that has a connotation that if I don't listen to Hashem, I'm going to get a bolt of lightning. Boom, it's going to hit me in the head. No, that's not what Hashem wants from us. So when you have awe and you love a person so much, you love Hashem so much that you can't even think, wait a second. Okay, if I do a little cut corners in business, make a couple of more dollars and that, but that's not what Hashem wants. Hashem, do you want me to do business like that? No, Hashem doesn't want that. Forget dollars. You know what's going to happen? You say that Hashem doesn't want that. And that's not a sanctification of His name. I promise you, beloved brother, beloved sister, I promise you, you gave up $1,000, 1,000 quid gain because it's not what Hashem wanted. Make room for 10 times that much in your bank account because that's what you're going to get. Hashem doesn't owe anyone anything. When we extol Hashem's name, we uplift Hashem's name, Hashem uplifts us. That's it. You think Hashem, we uplift Hashem's name, Hashem knocks us down? No way. And this is what Rebbe Nachman's do, that each person according to his level, can be aware of his own level. Wait a second, do I really have respect and awe for people that extol Hashem? Okay, so this corresponds again to what King David, that's our Mashiach. King David is the universal soul. King David is the all-inclusive soul. King David, everything feels everything we talk about, we can find in King David. Psalm 15, he says that it talks about a person who is a wonderful person. And what does King David says? He honors those who fear Hashem, or those who awe Hashem. Et yirei Hashem yechabed. Yirei Hashem yechabed. That's what King David says. Each person. So, as long as Hashem's glory is in exile, Hashem's glory is in exile, as long as people like Amnesty International and the UN and Hamas are running the world, Hashem's glory is in exile. And that's a disgrace, because they disgrace anyone God-fearing. I know a person today said something, an Israeli politician, and he said something nasty about Chabad. And this particular Israeli politician, this comes from the rich suburbs, and I said to him, hey, listen, out of this week, there were 70, or up to, not this week, up to since the beginning of the war, after October 7th, not October 7th, since the invasion of Gaza, there's 70 soldiers that have been killed. Out of 70 soldiers, 6 of them are Chabad, mostly special forces, mostly officers. Okay, so Chabad is maybe 0.5% of the population, but they're 8% of the fatalities, which means they're pulling 16 times more their weight. Okay, and out of the soldiers that died from this particular politician's neighborhood, there's not a single one. Not a single one. So how can you talk about that? And you got this guy as a big politician. So there we see, it's a disgrace. You're disgracing the Chabad guys. You in the world, everywhere you are, everywhere. It doesn't matter whether you're in Joburg or whether you're in Switzerland or whether you're in London. It doesn't matter what side of London you are, Golders Green or Hempton, or you got Chabad everywhere. Go to Thailand, you got Chabad. You got to go to India, go to Hong Kong. There are plenty of places. I traveled in the Far East and giving lectures in the Far East. And okay, where does Laser Brody stay in Beijing? The Chabad house. And we're in Shanghai, the Chabad house. And we're in Hong Kong, the Chabad house. The Chabad can't. You look at these guys, and they're doing what the Lubavitcher Rebbe wanted them to do. They're extensions of the Rebbe. So you see, if the people can disparage them, come on. They've never done any bad thing to anyone. They only do good for people. And what they said, nothing in return, just exalting Hashem's name. Now you can see, but if you take something like that, this is exactly what Rebbe Nachman is talking about. Rebbe Nachman is talking about that is when God's glory is in exile, when you see people that truly deserve to be honored, and they get knocked down. And they get the people that's talking bad about true tzaddikim or whatnot. Okay, so now we're up to part 7. So that's why we look forward to Mashiach. We look forward to Mashiach when the honor is going to go to the right place. First of all, let's go to Hashem. And this one thing I'll share with you, I particularly pray for every single day, Hashem, that the thing that hurts me more than anything in the world is the defamation of your holy name. Hashem, I don't care. If your name is sanctified and there's nothing but Kiddush Hashem, sanctification Hashem in your world, Laser Brody's going to have it great. It's going to be great. It's going to have the greatest life there is. All right. And you could give me, I don't know, whatever amenities, this and that, but I hear that your name is not sanctified. Nothing is worth it. And that is the whole thing we're doing in Amunah, trying to bring Amunah, trying to light up the world to all humanity, to everybody. Nobody's excluded. Everybody is welcome. Everybody can join us all here. They talk about, I don't know, could somebody, I'm willing to listen, but somebody could show me a more egalitarian forum in the world than our Emunah lessons. A more equal opportunity forum in the world in our Amunah lessons. Everybody's welcome. Doesn't matter who they are. If a person from Gaza would want to put aside his violence and put aside all his jihadi and pull aside that, and what is Hashem really about? Welcome, Muhammad, ahlan wa sahlan, tfadal, come learn with us. Okay, come learn with us. All right, but you got to put your knife down, and you got to put your gun down. You got to put your RPG down. All right, this is not. We don't allow knives, guns, and RPGs in our forum. No, and we don't allow any less than positive talk about one another. And it's no brainer that our group is. It's just so cohesive, and everybody loves everybody else and network with everyone. And this is a sanctification of Hashem's name. So now. We'll go one little bit further. Rebbe Nachman says he's making a temporary summary. Ve'ikar hadavar, and this is in letter Zayin, Ot 7, letter 7, and Torah 14. Ikar hadavar shechabed yireh Hashem belev shalem. Rebbe Nachman says the important thing is to respect those who extol Hashem with a full heart. You see someone that has true honor of Hashem, respect him with a full heart. Like they say, our sages say in the Gemara in Kiddushin, because this is what Hashem knows. Why does Rebbe Nachman say with the whole heart? Because only Hashem knows what's in your heart. Okay, you can put on an act, a big act. Hashem knows exactly what's in the heart. Okay, and that's where the honor is. It's in the heart. Where I look at something, I feel good about someone. I want to extol someone. It's not in the brain, it's in the heart. And that is what Isaiah the prophet yells at everybody about. He says, the name of Hashem, B'sfatav kibduni v'libo rachok mimeni. Oh, that there were the highbrows in the holy temple, and they said the prayers, and they respected me with their mouths, but their hearts were far away. This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 13. So it's right there. It's all right in the what Rebbe Nachman does. He takes all the sages, takes from King David, takes the prophets, takes from Gemara, he boils it down and puts it on our plate. And this enhances our emunah and brings us close to Hashem.